going on? What is going on? This is the No I Don't Know TV series. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. I can't hear my headphones looking ass. Man, what's going on? I'm your boy Warren G in the place to be. Been clown free and sucker free since 2003. Hey. Just thought I would hit y'all up back to back like the Los Angeles Lakers in the 80s. Like the Bulls in the 90s. And like the Lakers in the early 2000s. Back to back. Man, what is going on? What is going on? Another day. Another 10 cents for melanated brothers and sisters. This is the No I Don't Know TV series, like I just said. Shout out to everybody that's at the corporate plantation. Shout out to you. I know. I be at that motherfucker every day just like y'all. Let me cut this shit down. Allow me to clear my throat. Looking ass. Man. There's so much that's been going on. So much shit to get to. I ain't gonna be on long because I gotta catch up on my reading and shit. But anyway, man, looking at the news, looking at a lot of stuff. Man, I wanted to really dive into racism at the corporate plantation. And the reason why I want to really dive into this is because we got to understand that this is real. And I think a lot of us feel like because we don't experience it a lot of the times, that it's not being done to our people. I watched this interview with Royce the 5'9" on The Breakfast Club, and Charlamagne the God kind of breezed over that song that Eminem did, calling black women black bitches and nigger this and nigger that, and if I was a nigger and all this other shit. And that's far-fetched to say that he's racist. Come on, Charlamagne, man. See, a lot of times when we're friends with these people, we won't call them to the floor and be like, well, that wasn't a tad bit, that was in your heart. If you was calling somebody nigger this and nigger that, and all, that was already in your heart. So for us to kind of slide by that, and I get it, Royce is like, well, I ain't never seen no shit like that around me coming from Eminem. So I can take that. But we gotta stop pandering and just kind of like overlooking a white motherfucker being like nigger this and nigger that. And, oh man, well no, I don't know. So we gotta stop doing that. Stop letting these suspected white supremacists off the hook and kneel their ass to the cross like they'll do us. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because, our brother, I just did a podcast on the shooting at Coors, at the Molson Coors factory or whatever. And the thing that it didn't surprise me after it came out, because I was on Twitter, I was looking at it, and it was a brother, and he reached his boiling point. And I don't condone the violence, but the thing that we have to understand is this shit exists on every corporate plantation that you work at. And if we're not mentally prepared, that's what's going to end up happening. So, melanated brothers and sisters, native black people, we gotta get along. It is not us against each other. It's us against everyone else. And they'll exploit that. They'll often try to tell racist jokes to one black person thinking it's okay. And once you okay it, the rest is history. And we gotta understand that. We gotta start reading these books, diving into our history, and understanding what is going on. Because our dear brother, I'm reading the articles and I feel bad because he got pushed to that point. My brother was 51 years old. I'm reading this article. Milwaukee shooting motive is blamed on alleged racism at brewery with history of complaints. And I'm going to dive into it. Anthony Farrell is our brother's name. And the thing that didn't surprise me is we got to know that these suspected white supremacists and these white supremacists that are pushing the line of racism and white supremacy, they know what they're doing. They say little things. And I've been on jobs before where I've watched the dynamic. I remember when I used to work at Opportunity Village. And I remember I worked with this older white guy, real cool dude. And he told me, he said, man, I'm from Detroit. And the first time I heard somebody say the N-word towards a black person, I seen this black person knock him out cold. And that struck fear in every white boy's mind and heart that, oh, this black person he ain't playing around. And it kind of did something to me because I was like, what do you mean by that? He was like, well, because they just kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. And I was friends with him, and I used to tell him, dude, you guys better leave him alone. They kept pushing him. And then one guy ended up calling him a nigger. And he knocked his ass out cold. Cold like they had to call the ambulance. And that scared every other white boy. And it's like, white people in general have white privilege. They use white fragility to get out a lot of things. And they see other racist things going on. They will not say anything, and they will allow it to go on because they're on code. So when we get on these corporate plantations, we got to know how to conduct ourselves. Now I'm going to read a little bit of the article about what he was saying. Details about the deadly mass shooting at a brewery in Milwaukee have been trickling out in the hours since a former employee killed 5 people and then died by suicide on Wednesday afternoon. But according to social media reports, the gunman, allegedly a black man named Anthony Farrell, waged his shooting rampage because he was subjected to racism in the workplace at the Molson Coors Brewery. Now, the shooter at Miller's Coors is reported to have suffered racial discrimination and harassment from white co-workers. He recently filed a civil lawsuit against Miller's Coors' racist work environment. The racist white co-workers had hung a hangman noose on his locker. He was rehired after the lawsuit 5 years ago. The white racist male harassment continued when he returned to work at Coors without providing evidence of his claim. The racist white co-workers this time humiliated the 51-year-old African-American male by pasting spades cards on his work locker and making his workday unbearable in white male racist antics. Now, doesn't that sound familiar? Now, certain workplaces, people are not bold enough to do it, but others they are. And other corporate plantations, they'll throw out little jabs and say little things. And then they'll act like it's not offensive because they're so used to saying and doing whatever they want because it's their system. So what happens is us as native black people, or black people in general, especially native black people that know their history and know a little bit of it, you have to dial back your emotion and be emotionless and act like it didn't happen, because that's how you're feeding your family. And Caucasians know this. They know this is what's going on. That's why they'll poke, say things, fuck with you, throw little jabs out there, make little remarks, but let you not say, hey, I'm being or that person's being discriminated on because they're black. Oh, then they want to have a meeting and try to intimidate you and make. This is what goes on at the corporate plantation. But if you're not armed with these books, if you're not armed with black labor, white wealth, if you're not armed with slavery by another name, if you're not armed with these books in the matter of color, if you're not armed with the compensatory counter-racist code of ethics, if you're not armed with this book by Dilly Fuller Jr., then as he teaches, if you don't understand racism and white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. And that's why we get on these jobs, these corporate plantations, we start arguing with each other, we start fighting, fussing, trying to get whatever nigga trinkets we can get. You know what I mean? We don't want to get along because we view each other as corporate plantation competition, because we want to be the person that shines bright like a diamond in front of them. These are the things that happens. You know, Dr. Claude Anderson talks about a meritorious manumission. You can either save a white person, come up with an invention, or you can go tell on somebody. There's more native black, and the reason why I keep saying native black, I'm talking about people that are indigenous to this landmass. I'm not talking about Africans and people that come from other countries and come here. Right now, I'm talking about native black people, because we don't have a code of conduct, and we don't want to, in my personal opinion, in my perspective, follow a code. You got some people that's like, oh, that nigga on his own. You got some people that won't even try. You got some people that, and there are a lot of young people that don't get it. Because in this social media era, you can't tell them shit. And they think they know. But what they don't understand is, unless you're going to school to have a trade in electricity, plumbing, landscaping, something where you can always have a job, if you have to go depend on the corporate plantation, then you better go get the independent compensatory counter code of racism. You better go get it. You better go get this book. You better go get Black Labor, White Wealth. You better go understand. Go get the ISIS papers by the late, great, honorable Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Go get the book. Go get The Fall of America by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Just go get these books. You don't have to, in my personal opinion, be a part of the Nation of Islam to study the history that they've gathered. You don't have to do all that. You don't have to be a part of the nation to be that way. The only thing that you have to do by design is gather that information. You don't have to be Nation of Islam to study the fall of America by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You don't have to do that. Motherfuckers, they see the picture and they be thinking, oh, I'm not no Muslim. I'll just put this out here and I'll say, and I ain't saying this shit no more. The reason why I got this picture of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad up, because every house you go into, white person, they got. Let me tell you who they got up. They got John F. Kennedy, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, George Washington. Those were all racist white supremacists who owned and controlled slaves, stole this land from the Native Americans, which are the Moors, Native blacks, the Moors, and made us build this country for free. And if you go on the average white person's home, that's the picture they have up. So other than be like everybody else and go get a picture of Malcolm X because they got that documentary on Netflix, no. I got another picture of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Farad Muhammad, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I choose to have those pictures up because in my personal perspective and opinion, they're responsible for Malcolm X's knowledge after prison. They're responsible for a lot of, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad made Malcolm X, in my personal opinion. Maybe people would say he didn't. They're entitled to their opinion. But what I believe and what I see is, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is a lot of the reason why Malcolm X was the way he was. Because he was taught by him. So, why is it we can't have pictures like this? Why does it have to be clown ass Obama or Frederick Douglass or, just, you know what I mean? People that they teach you about in school. The safe Negroes. Why you can't have Jean-Jacques Dessalines? Why you can't have that? Because when you go in their house, they go in white people's house. They got the most vile, white, racist motherfuckers up on their wall. John F. Kennedy was racist too. What y'all think? Because he got killed? He ain't give a fuck about no niggas. Man, please. Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator, was also the great slave owner and slave orator. And didn't give a fuck about no niggas and was basically trying to save the union. But we praise him because they've pushed this narrative that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Man, fuck y'all and Abraham Lincoln. So if they can have those pictures of Andrew Jackson, who did not follow those treaties that were set in line for native black people to get their land in Florida, Andrew Jackson got the military police and went over there and was like, fuck these niggas, this my land. And fuck Rosewood and fuck all you motherfuckers. So if they can have pictures of them up on their wall, I'm gonna have a picture of him up. Period. And I ain't got to be no goddamn Nation of Islam Muslim to have a picture of him up on my wall. Because as those people that got pictures of John F. Kennedy up on their wall, they wasn't even into politics. Because the motherfucker looked like them. Well, I got a picture of him up on my wall because he stood for something. And he acknowledged himself and know who the fuck your enemy is. And studying them motherfuckers. And studying from the cradle to the grave. So we have to understand when you get on these corporate plantations, that racism shit exists. Just because, I don't have that problem with them white people. That's because you're not a threat. Be a threat at your corporate plantation and see how they treat you. You just be a threat. While everybody running around here worried about the goddamn coronavirus and shit, they getting ready to crash this economy, ladies and gentlemen. All these distractions, trust and believe you me. That's why they're trying to push old ass, racist ass Bernie Sanders into office. I don't give a fuck if you did stand next to Killer Mike. Yeah, you stood next to Killer Mike, but you still don't want to talk about helping black people in such a way where we can be economically independent against y'all system. Why don't y'all just give us the shit that y'all owe us, and then we won't fuck with y'all no more in that context. But then if you do that, there'd be no basketball, there'd be no entertainment. Yes, they have galvanized the movement to have the Latinos build the homes and do everything. But let me tell you something. All you Latino brothers and sisters, y'all just happy to be here. We built the country. That's the difference. And I don't care how much they talk about immigrants built this country, that's a goddamn lie. That's why when I read this article about Anthony Farrell, it's like, wow, he got pushed. So they put spades cards taped it against his locker because just niggas pay spades. And don't think that's not offensive. Hung a noose up. But this is what goes on at the corporate plantation. That's why we have to be battle tested. And motherfuckers, and see, I was watching too with Royce the 5'9" on there. Oh man, I've been listening to your music. I could tell, you got therapy. Look, I don't understand what it is with black people and pushing this go get therapy. But I'm gonna tell y'all black people, why don't y'all go ask Harriet Tubman's people if she got therapy? Go ask Nat Turner if he got therapy. Let's go ask Jean-Jacques Dessalines' descendants, and let's ask if he got therapy. Let's ask Dirty Bookman, Mackendal. Let's ask them in the Haitian Revolution if they sought therapy to defeat the fucking Frenchmen. Man, get the fuck out of here. Y'all better stop listening to that shit, that therapy and all this other shit. Better stop listening to all that. You better get knowledge yourself. Therapy is talking to your brother and sister and being on code. Therapy is being able to just look at a sister and she can look at you and see what you going through and know what you going through and you know what she going through on the corporate plantation, and y'all could just get in that elevator and be like, boy, these motherfuckers ain't shit. And then you can say, these motherfuckers ain't shit, and y'all can laugh. That's therapy. Not no going and sitting and talking to somebody and talking about all your childhood trauma. And then talking, and then you're never getting over it, and talking, and spending all this fucking goddamn money that you don't have. Because need I remind the Breakfast Club and everybody else, everybody's not making money like y'all. There's some people that gotta put a roof over their children's head and food on the table. They ain't got time to be taking their kids to no goddamn therapy. And if anybody want to push therapy, why don't you push it on these white people for stealing a country and enslaving native blacks, making us build this country for free and not giving us shit. They're the insane motherfuckers building these corporate plantations and corporatocracies and disguise them as LLCs, which everybody needs to go get because they got them. Getting them out of Delaware because the laws are constricted and construed in such a way where you can have mass fuckery going on and nothing to really happen to you. That's why almost every major company, their LLC is based out of Delaware. That's why your social security numbers are based out of Delaware. But we don't know that because we don't even want to go, we don't even want to sit down and listen to your fellow brother or sister. We don't want to pick up a book and read. That man was probably so stressed out. Let me tell y'all something, melanated people. Getting up and going to that corporate plantation every day, this is a war where no black man is safe. So if you think it's easy, the shit is not easy at all. It's not easy. And then you got to go to work and then go to corporate plantation and then listen to people quote Oprah and quote Steve Harvey's clown ass and quote all these Sambo, Hayward Shepherd, tell them about the gun line boss ass coons talking about ain't no racism and I don't know nothing about no slavery and all this other shit. And just because you can make a white person laugh, what kind of shit is that? Then Harvey Weinstein gets convicted. You can't even find Harpo. Where the fuck is Harpo at? Go check out that interview with Monique and her husband and Dr. Boyce Watkins. Great interview. Great interview. Great interview. But nah, Snoop Dogg got to go on an apology tour and make up excuses. In my personal opinion, you're saying that your mom, and I get it, but why did your mom make you apologize for bitch you got the mom ass pussy? Why ain't your mom make you apologize to all these bitches and all these hoes? Somebody here gon' fuck. Come on, man. But I get it. Teach his own. You may have a wife. Maybe your wife didn't like it. But I just, in my personal opinion, I'm not in the household, so I don't know what's going on. But that black brother, Anthony Farrell, that must have been beyond stressful. That's a mental warfare when you hitting that corporate plantation. There's so many tricks and rules. Y'all think I'm playing? I'm going to write a book. Watch. I'm already gathering my thoughts, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. I'm going to write a book about the corporate plantation and all the shit that I've seen among the years and all these games that being played and having you think that if I could just do this and they like me, man, I'm going to just be successful. Let me tell you something. You successful when you read Black Labor, White Wealth, when you read Powernomics, when you read Post-Traumatic Slave Disorder, Slave Syndrome by Dr. Joy DeGruy, The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. When you read those books, The Fall of America by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. When you read those books, then you're successful. Fuck all this. Let me go get this European education and be reinserted back into the matrix on some cipher shit to do what? To be controlled. You ain't gonna be able to say shit anyway. Not on no major platform. Not if they're paying you millions and millions of dollars. They're not gonna do that. If you're a billionaire, that's because you've been allowed to be a billionaire. No diss to Jay-Z, no diss to Beyonce, but that's what they want. They want safe niggas in that spot. No diss to them. I'm proud of them. But you'll never see a Dame Dash as no billionaire. Because he going to be calling out motherfuckers like Harvey Weinstein and calling their ass to the floor and putting their ass on blast. And telling niggas, hey, that's a fucked up deal. Don't take that deal. Fuck that white mother. That's what Dame Dash going to be saying. And that's why you notice that. Remember this, activists, real activists, they're poor. We want celebrities to be activists and activists to be celebrities. A regular activist, oh, he ain't got no money while we listening to him. And then the motherfucker that got all the money, he's gold. He's platinum. He's everything. He is the Messiah to us. And I'm like, but nigga ain't told you about nerd book to read. I don't give a fuck how much money a nigga got. I like that. I like that. Harvey crime scene. I like that, nigga. I like that. Harvey crime scene. I'm about to tweet that shit. Hey, y'all niggas follow me at Warren Like These, though. WARRENLIKDEEZDO. Follow me on Twitter. Harvey crime scene. That's cold. I'm telling y'all right now. Y'all better wake up. That brother, let me tell you what's going to happen. Now, since this brother went in there and killed those people, every melanated brother, don't get aggressive, don't get loud, mentally become a recluse, don't be reactionary, don't wear your feelings on your sleeve, and go on about your way. Because since that brother did that, see, the core plantation is going to let every other core plantation know what the fuck is going on. And then you're going to start seeing cultural trainings and minority training. You're going to start seeing that. And that's how they mask it in there. Like they're catering to black people, but really they're not. You're going to be the enemy. And if you're a black man and you're on the core plantation, you better not get to arguing and talking crazy. Because the minute you do, guilty nigga, fired. So know how to conduct yourself. Take your ass to work, to the core plantation, because on payday, that shit gonna hurt. So if you don't take your ass to work, it's gonna hurt. You go in there mentally tough. Every person that sees another melanated person, don't give them motherfuckers a hard time. That person is at mental warfare. As you looking at them crazy, they at mental warfare right now. You can't move a certain way. Can't do certain things. Can't act a certain way. Can't say this. Can't talk like this. Can't laugh too much. Can't be too quiet. How many times have I told you? Become a recluse. Become introverted. Take your book to work and read it. And that's it. Let me tell you one thing that I've seen and I've observed, just being at different core plantations. When you're a reader and you try to make yourself be an avid reader, it opens up your mind more to like how you can read people. And now you can kind of pick up on the bullshit. Because once you have established that you're starting to read things, especially your history and how your people have been treated, the dominant society, they take note of that and they start watching you. Then they start throwing little jabs at you and saying little things and picking and trying to make it seem like they're interested in what you're reading when really they're not. They're just trying to build some type of a file on you like J. Edgar Hoover did Fred Hampton and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X. And for all y'all that don't know, if they killed Fred Hampton, why wouldn't they kill Malcolm X? Y'all niggas need to stop with this. Some nigga on Twitter was trying to tell me that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has something to do with the killing of Malcolm X. I wanted to tell this nigga so bad, nigga, if you don't shut the fuck up with that bullshit, then you must ain't heard of Fred Hampton. You must ain't heard of MLK. So if they do it to those two gentlemen, then of course, Malcolm X, you next on the list. J. Edgar Hoover is the most racist, vile human being I've ever read about. But they named a building after this motherfucker. They named a building after this white supremacist who was known for being an anti-black, anti-melanated person in a position of power, and you was the director for 40 years and nobody never checked it. I didn't see John F. Kennedy talking about his ass. I didn't see none of those other Caucasians going at his ass. You know who was talking about him? Let me tell you who was talking about him. These Caucasians that's in this book, the burglar. See, those motherfuckers don't exist anymore. A lot of those Caucasian people, and a lot of those people part of the dominant society, they don't exist. We too busy praising Tim Wise's big head ass, who we've yet to see. Where is he? Probably at a speaking engagement, peddling his books with that little southern twang about my mommy and my daddy. Right, as he talks shit about Dr. Francis Grace Welsing. Man, get the fuck out of here. See, when I listened to Royce da 5'9", and as he's defending Eminem, I felt like Charlamagne the God should have just went past that. But for him to dummy down that vile song that Eminem made about black women, come on, man. You got to be out your fucking mind. And I understand, because you're on a major platform. But what you gonna soon see is, if you don't be careful, they gonna turn on your ass too. So we gotta be mindful of that. I think Royce da 5'9", he did a good job, because he said, hey, I ain't seen that, and ain't nobody gonna be around me with that racist shit, because I'm a ride for my people. And I acknowledge that. But Eminem also did an interview with Crooked Eye talking about, I never said I wasn't a guest in hip hop. So, with that being said, Lord Jamar was correct. So why the fuck was you going at him and talking crazy to him? Oh, because what Lord Jamar was saying. See, this is what happens. By the way, you better go check out the Yada I Mean podcast with Lord Jamar. That's a very good podcast. Just go on YouTube, Yada I Mean podcast. Because what Lord Jamar has been saying this past 6, 7, 8 months, and just reiterating what he said, and he stood on his word because of his teachings and his belief system. See, that really bothered Eminem. I know it bothered him. You know why it bothered him? Because what, in my personal opinion, Lord Jamar reached into his fucking soul and pulled it out and said, now look, y'all, this motherfucker is not the savior of hip hop. He's not the king of hip hop. He's not a rap god. And I don't give a fuck what y'all say. I'm standing on it because of my teachings, and we created this shit. So fuck him and fuck all you motherfuckers that's ride with him. He's a fucking fraud. Half the shit he's rapping about don't make sense. Now, I'm paraphrasing what Lord Jamar said. But what I like about Lord Jamar, he never apologized. He stood on it. And he don't give a fuck how much flack he got. He don't give a fuck who didn't like him. He don't care how many memes was made about him. He stood on it. And I think Eminem knew, well, I'm dealing with an educated black man. So, yeah, I can take jabs at him, but it's really hurting my feelings. Because Lord Jamar has done more for our culture than Eminem could ever do. What the fuck did he do compared to what Lord Jamar? Lord Jamar is a 5%er. Teaching us, go watch those videos about with Brand Nubian and all those fucking videos of the white dude with a he had a devil costume on. He was really the devil and shit like that. Man, Lord Jamar and them was ahead of their time, and I was a kid when that came out. My brother was real up on Brand Nubian. But man, Lord Jamar had those fucking lessons of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the lessons of the 5%ers. That motherfucker was teaching all. I remember that shit as a kid because I remember growing up and Jesus said it, that was evil. You know, that was bad. We don't deal with that. So I remember that as a kid. But let me tell you something. Eminem knows that what Lord Jamar is saying. I know it has to have bothered him. Because Lord Jamar, whether people like it is, Lord Jamar is a pillar of the hip hop community. And he don't like it. And then on that podcast, the other brother, Rage, that was on there said, I think he treated Grandmaster Cash all fucked up and was acting all funny style. But I believe it. The reason why I believe it is because, see, certain people, when you start removing people out the way, you're going to really see. When the dominant society is being held up by melanated black people, they stand proud, they stick their titty out, their chest out. But once you start removing those pieces, like you remove Dre, you remove 50, you remove Proof, you remove Royce, you just start removing all those pieces. And then people can't speak up for him. And then you have another black person calling him out and not backing down. It's so funny how you want to make this record, but then I watch Crooked, I interview you now you on skates. This is the second time he was on skates. I never said, dude, what the fuck is that, bro? Like, bro, I never said I wasn't a guest in the House of Hip Hop. Oh, so Lord Jamar, it is right. You are a guest. Then why didn't you just say, I am a guest? No, you didn't like the fact that he grabbed that soul and that ego of yours. See, you're white selling our music to white people. So of course, you're their savior. But to us, you're not. See, when Eminem came out, I had no knowledge of who I was. I had no knowledge of self. I was not very well read. I questioned a lot of shit, but I love Dr. Dre's production. So anything Dr. Dre co-signed, I loved and still do. But you feel like, man, this guy's a phenomenon. But what you have to do is you got to pull back those layers and start looking at things. And when Nick Cannon started going at him, at first I was like, what is Nick Cannon doing? But over the years, I look back and I'm like, oh, you just one of those type of people that's going to talk shit about black people because you know black people's going to come to your aid. And we should not have given him a pass for that. But we have because we're so enamored with the production and we're so enamored with who he's standing behind. You know, 50 Cent and Dre and D12 and all that. That's fine. But now that's all gone. So I don't need you to go on BET and do a half-ass freestyle that was not great. But all these people are getting killed in the street. You have been a direct beneficiary, not just from slavery, but from hip-hop. So it is your duty to be respectful when you're dealing with gods like Lord Jamar. But we don't call that out because we want to get signed by Eminem. Man, I do music, but that's the last motherfucker I'm worried about. Fuck that nigga. Fuck them all. Man, fuck all that. That's the problem. Everybody's so afraid of fucking up their bag. Or maybe getting shot. That's why, listen to the interview, I just was like, when Royce the 5'9" was speaking about T Grizzly and how T Grizzly dissed Eminem. And then Eminem was like, see, that guy missed out on his blessing. Nigga, fuck you. Nigga, he didn't need you to go on the Breakfast Club. It's like, I don't, but see, that's us building up these Caucasians' egos in our shit. And then they do like Sam Smith and start talking shit about Michael Jackson. And it took a woman, you know, and several people to put his ass in check. So you doing our music, but you talking shit about Michael Jackson. So you think I could be a Jewish banker and start talking shit about Mayor M. Shell Rothschild and get away with it? So I could be a black banker amongst Jewish bankers and then start talking shit about Mayor M. Shell Rothschild? Fuck that fucking Jew and all. You think I'd be able to? They deplete my stock and remove me from their society. But we don't have that mentality. I'm not saying if somebody from the dominant society is a guest in hip hop and they're being true to the soil. I'm not saying that. Paul Wall is true to the soil. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is these people, Post Malone, come over here, do our music, and then talk shit about it, and then we just co-sign it. We gotta stop that. There's a lot of things that I see, a lot of things that I've observed, and when I watch this brother go in there and start dumping on all those people, the first thing I think of is, okay, I gotta start talking to my brothers and sisters. And I gotta, man, we don't want us coming to that point. But he was pushed beyond reproach. They hanging nooses up, they doing all this. And the reason why I was talking about the Royce 5 thing is because doing those interviews, that's the corporate plantation too. Charlamagne the God and them don't own that radio station. Dame Dash already put that shit out there. I don't care how much stock you own, you don't own the station. So I would really love to see Charlamagne and them go build their own station so they can say whatever the fuck they want to say. Because I think it's very important for us to understand that at these corporate plantations, it is not easy. It is very difficult for a melanated native black brother or sister to navigate within that system. They're always looking at the way you wearing your hair. They're always looking at the way you dress or what you might say. Oh, and don't try to move up their little fictitious corporate ladder. Oh, Lord Jesus. You better be Barack Obama. You better just nod and say yes, sir, no, sir. Because that's the only way you're going to get ahead. But I think that this brother going in there and dumping on everybody, I think that has really, really awakened a lot of melanated people. Because what he did was, you got pushed. You got pushed. I'm telling you. Hey, what's going on, Shawnee? You got pushed. That brother got pushed to the edge. And shout out to the brothers that was tweeting. Man, this brother, Tony Muhammad, that brother put it out there. Why don't you ask the questions why he was in there shooting? That brother went in there and started digging and doing the research. That motherfucker's like, oh, he had a civil suit against Molson Coors. Oh. That's why. So they was a lot. See, they wanted him. See, when you sue, it's like Colin Kaepernick. When you sue the company that you're working for, they're going to allow more racism to come your way because they want you to fuck up out of there. That's how institutions work. See, we got to understand that racism, white supremacy is an institution. It's a team sport, as Dr. Claude Anderson teaches. It is not an individual sport. That's why you have individuals who get their money and a little bit of shit, and then they feel like they fuck the rest of those niggas. You know? And then these people treat me good. Well, like that song that Eminem made about black women and calling them niggers and dumb bitches and, well, somebody need to hold him accountable. Somebody needs to question, hey, bruh, what are you on? And why hasn't nobody called him to the floor and been like, okay, we want to talk to you about this song that you made about black people? Now, I would have a different respect for Eminem if he said, you know what, I just want to apologize to the black community. I apologize. I was wrong, and that was fucked up of me. And I don't want black people feeling like that's the way I feel now. And I've made a lot of money off this industry. I am again. You do that, you'll probably get more respect and sell more albums than you probably ever sold in your life. But you hide. You're cowardly, in my opinion, and you hide behind every other black person. You become this recluse. Then you do this interview with Crooked Eye, a person that was defending you when Joe Biden outed your ass. Why don't you go and do an interview on The Breakfast Club? You're not. Then you did the interview with Sway, and it's like, that's what gives me that suspected white supremacist behavior. Now, you're a dope lyricist as far as lyrical content earlier in the 2000s, but now, I'm with Lord Jamar on that. I don't know what can you possibly talk about that could relate to me? Sorry. But that's just my opinion. So when you watch this brother, like I said, man, when y'all are at these corporate plantations, this is mental warfare. Read these books. Take them with you to work. I do. Books are meant to be worn out and rubbed and highlighted. That shows you're studying. Read these books. You know, understand what's going on. I'm still reading Behold the Pale Horse. Very, very good book. Very, very good book. Next, I think I'm going to read Vlad the Impaler. And then I think I'm going to read White Gold. Then I think I'm going to read this book about LaRue. I forgot her last name. This lady, this crazy ass lady in New Orleans. That was from France. That was killing all these niggas and shit. But anyway, I'm just saying, know thyself. Study. Watch. When you're watching these shows on TV, pick out little things. That's why I talk about that housewife bitch from New York, whatever the fuck, the Italian lady who was writing bad loans and signing documents, and then she want to play white fragility. I didn't know what I was signing. And you got this big ass house, you got all these children, you got this big ass mansion in New Jersey that's probably a $2-3 million home, and then it came out, oh, we know how you doing this. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Then you go to jail, then you do this woe is me shit. Then you hang out with a suspected white supremacist that's known for calling black people niggas. Niggers this and nigger that. And you taking up for this woman. And I'm like, wow. Then you like, oh, well, I got to provide for my children. And, you know, when I went to prison, I went away and woe is me. And now my husband is getting deported. Well, that's what y'all get. It's so funny how y'all come here and give us this story about my family came here with $1 in their pocket. Let's rewind this. My family came here, so you didn't build this fucking country. So why do you think you don't deserve to get deported? So I can't go to Italy and get to talking shit about a whole bunch of Italians and shit. And then talk about my family came here with no dollar and we built this fortune for my family. And I don't know what's wrong with these Italians. Man, them motherfucking Italians would run my Moulignan ass right the fuck up out of there. But this is the only country I know where people will come here for free, suck up all the land, wealth, and resources, and then talk shit about niggas. Man, get the fuck out of here. And then push niggas to the point where you want to go on a job and do that. And I don't condone no violence like that, but it's like, y'all have to understand, it's mental warfare. And I'm pretty sure nobody knew the extremities of what Anthony Farrell was going through. Because you know why? We don't care. Fuck the dominant society. They're never gonna care. It's their system. So they're never gonna cry foul. They're never gonna care. They're never gonna blow the whistle. So stop expecting them to. I expect my people to understand what we go through. And when you see somebody that's at the corporate plantation like you, pull up to the side, hey man, what's going on? Make eye contact. Don't not make eye contact. Hey man, what's going on? Stop trying to be in everybody else's face, and then when it comes to your people, you're looking at them upside their head. That's why sometimes I look and I just be like, are you serious? Like, man, come on, man. We all know what this is. We all know what white supremacy is. Some people don't know what it is. You know why? Because some people are getting paid very well at these corporate plantations. So they looking at you like, oh, well, they treat you like that because you're just a silly little Negro. Well, no, nigga, you're the silly little Negro. Because all it takes is for them to take away your bread and butter, and then nigga, stop acting like that. Stop acting like ain't no racism. You don't see color. And then when they take away your shit, then you want to be fight for our rights and all that bullshit. Fuck out of here. Where the fuck was your antennas at when niggas like Mike Brown was getting killed? Like I keep saying, when Philando Castile got shot on Facebook Live and motherfuckers at the corporate plantation was run up to me and show me videos, you know what I said? That happens to us all the time. And that's been happening to us for the last 450 years. And nobody seemed to care. But now y'all seem to care? Y'all not going to be talking about Philando Castile. I said, y'all not going to be talking about that dude in 3 days. And then motherfuckers looked at me like, damn, why you say it like that? And I said, I mean what I'm saying. And they never came up to me again, show me nothing. And guess what happened in 3 or 4 days? Philando Castile was a goddamn distant memory and entertainment to the dominant society, but it was real to me. Stop thinking that these people gonna understand what you go through. They don't give a flying fuck what you going through. They don't care. They don't want to know. Let me tell you, if they want to know, they gonna make sure you good. And if you even remotely feel like it's some racism, they gonna nip that shit in the bud and be like, hey, I hope you don't feel like it's some racism, because we can check this shit right now. Because that's not what I'm about. But most of them, they're gonna do what is called white fragility. Go get that book and read it. And deflect and act like it doesn't exist. And use terms like, I don't see color. Right. And then, oh, minority coalition and, minorities. And then they'll group you in with everybody else that's brown. With these Indians and everybody else. And I'm not talking about the, Native Americans. I'm talking about the motherfuckers that work at 7-Eleven. Then they group you in with them. No, don't ever group me with them. They didn't build this fucking country. See, you gotta catch that shit. Check a motherfucker. I'm not talking about at work. But I'm talking about outside of work. When you outside of work and the motherfucker get to talking that minority shit, say, hey man, I am not a minority. If my people not a minority, we built this country. Well, no, I'm not a minority. But you gotta read. See, that's why on Twitter they get mad at me, because especially the LGBTQ, them motherfuckers thought that they was about to intimidate me. I was like, no, you need to read this book, Black Labor White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. Oh, so you're saying black? I said, yeah. I'm saying I don't agree with the LGBTQ movement, and I don't agree that y'all pushing that upon black people, and I do agree that is Genetic Annihilation by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. The ISIS Papers, you should go read it. Then a motherfucker like, oh, I don't know what that is. Then when you got him is when they start name calling. Oh, you're stupid. Oh, you're ignorant. I tweeted back, how am I ignorant? But I'm the only one that's giving you books to read about the struggle of Native black people. You've yet to give me any book about a struggle about some LGBTQ element or PXYZ. Well, there's plenty of black people. I said, I'm talking about Native black struggle in the United States of America. I'm not talking about LGBTQ. You're trying to group the two. And then once you start hitting them with facts, oh, you're stupid. Oh, you're ignorant. I said, yet again, I'm the only one that's giving books. Where are the books? I'll go read them. No books. Crickets. Oh, I'm going to stop replying because you're not making any sense. Yet again, I've told you, go read the ISIS Papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Go read The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. If, why are you always bringing up slavery? Go read Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. Once you start giving them books, and they call you dumb, but they've yet to return the favor and give me any books, that's all you need to know. But yet again, I'm telling y'all, each one teach one. You see your brother, your sister out, you see him working hard, don't give him a hard time. Uplift that brother and sister. This is mental warfare. When niggas gotta come to the job and be like, all right, I'ma just handle this myself. That's a problem. And that's not a mental health problem. No, I've been pushed beyond reproach. I've been pushed and backed against my limits. And I've had enough. Remember that. Hey man, this is the No I Don't Know TV series. I'm your boy Warren G, and the place to be. Been clowning sucker free since 2003. Shout out to everybody that's been listening. Hey man, go read these books. Go read Behold the Pale Horse. If you ain't read a book, the first book I would suggest you read The ISIS Papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Black Labor, White Wealth, Powernomics, Black History Reader, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Dr. Joy DeGruy. I would read one of those books. Hey man, I appreciate y'all. Guilty nigga. I'm out. Peace.